AniFM I1 also support to copy the calibration data from one unit to another unit which use the same brand infusion site. For example, here we can go to check the accuracy calibration data for this one, and here input calibration data here. And for example, we already finished the calibration for brand 1, and then we can check all the data, the calibration data for this infusion site volume 1 and volume 2. And then if another same unit use the same infusion site, and then we can copy the data to another unit. We can copy the volume 1 and volume 2 to the same page. For example, we already got this one, and then in another unit we go to the same page, accuracy calibration, and then we just input. For example, we choose brand 2. Okay, here we just input the volume 1, volume 2 numbers from that unit, and then it will help us to easily finish the calibration. And the same for pressure calibration. We can check the pressure calibration data here. For example, we finish the calibration for brand 1, and then we can check the data for brand 1 here. There's two calibration data, factor K1, factor K2. This is the calibration data, pressure calibration data for brand 1 for that infusion site, and then we can copy this data to another unit. And the same page we go, the same one. Yeah, the pressure calibration. For example, we choose brand 2 as example, and we don't need to do the real calibration. We just put the factor K1 and factor K2 from the first unit, and then we just copy data here, and then it's finished. So from this way, it will be help us find an easy way to do a batch calibration. So we just use the one unit to finish the calibration, and then we copy the data to the others.